First story horror story, The Eternal Stranger. In the heart of the Nevada desert, where the endless sand seemed to swallow everything, lay a dark and unspeakable secret, Area 51. It was there that an extraterrestrial experiment went awry, releasing into the night a being from another reality. An elusive silhouette with luminous eyes, now known as the Eternal Stranger. Escaping from the secret depths of Area 51, the Eternal Stranger was not a mere fugitive. Its transcendental existence manifested in the nuances of twilight, a shifting shadow emerging from the depths of the unknown. Perplexed agents watched surveillance cameras capture spectral images of the escape. As the Eternal Stranger moved through the desert, an ethereal atmosphere accompanied it. Indistinct murmurs, cosmic whispers, rose in the wake of its passage. Distant observers recounted that the sky itself seemed to tremble under the will of this escaped entity. The residents of small neighboring towns were the first to feel the influence of the Eternal Stranger. Strange dreams, unsettling visions, plunged them into a state of perpetual fear. Some claimed that the strange silhouette materialized in their nightmares, an indefinable presence haunting their deepest thoughts. Research teams, sent by Area 51 to retrieve their extraterrestrial escapee, never returned quite the same. Some were found in a catatonic state, repeating meaningless phrases, while others mysteriously disappeared, absorbed by the Eternal Stranger. The Eternal Stranger was not just an escaped creature, but an insatiable force that transcended our understanding of time and space. The precious nocturnes resonated with its influence, transforming the desert into a theater of the unspeakable, where the boundary between reality and nightmare blurred. As the legend of the Eternal Stranger grew, residents found themselves trapped between fascination and terror. Some embarked on obsessive quests to find it, hoping to unravel the cosmic mysteries it carried. Others, frightened by the accounts of those who dared approach, barricaded their doors, fearing that the Eternal Stranger could slip into their lives. The Nevada desert, once a desolate landscape, had become the playground of the unknown, where the shadow of the Eternal Stranger persisted, elusive in the depths of the endless desert, carrying with it the promise of revealing unspeakable cosmic truths or submerging those who approached it in eternal darkness. Second story, real horror story, the legend of Huska Castle. In the heart of the Bohemian forest in the Czech Republic stands the mysterious Huska Castle. Built in the 12th century, this Gothic castle is not just a historical relic, but also the guardian of an ancient legend that sends shivers down the spine of those who hear it. The legend tells of a vast hole at the site of the castle, believed to be the opening to hell itself. Witnesses claim that demonic creatures emerged from this pit, terrorizing the surrounding countryside. Villagers could not cultivate the land near the castle, fearing that the crops would be tainted by the evil souls emanating from this infernal abyss. The terror was so great that no one dared approach the castle, but the local Lord Katirad decided to address the issue. He ordered the construction of Huska Castle directly above the hole, creating a structure that he believed would act as a barrier between the world of men and the horrors of hell. During the castle's construction, Katirad reportedly offered a generous reward to any death row prisoner who would descend into the hole to explore its depths. After a few days, the prisoner returned screaming in terror, his face pale. He claimed to have spent weeks traversing hellish landscapes, encountering indescribable creatures and tormented souls. Years later, workers renovating the castle discovered human bones within the walls, as if bodies had been used as construction material. The macabre discovery reinforced the belief that Huska Castle was established to seal the entrance to hell. Over the centuries, the castle has accumulated a heavy paranormal history. Visitors claim to have heard moans from the walls, seen ghostly apparitions, and felt strange sensations when approaching the pit. Some assert that, despite Katirad's efforts, the gates of hell remain partially open at Huska. Today, Huska Castle has become a tourist attraction, but its dark history and unsolved mysteries continue to haunt its corridors and fuel the nightmares of those who dare enter its confines. The legend of Huska Castle remains a grim reminder that sometimes even the walls of a castle are not enough to contain the horrors that reside below. Third story, real paranormal story in Thailand, the ghost of Mae Nak. The story I'm about to tell you is a well-known legend in Thailand, a ghost story that has endured through generations. It's the tale of the ghost of Mae Nak. The plot unfolds in the 19th century in the Phra Kanong district of Bangkok. A young soldier named Mak returns home after valiantly fighting in the war. His wife, May Nak, patiently awaits him in their small house. The couple was deeply in love, and their happiness was palpable. However, their joy was short-lived. During Mak's absence, May Nak fell seriously ill while giving birth to their child. She did not survive childbirth, leaving Mak alone and inconsolable. Yet, May Nak's love for her husband was so strong that she couldn't bring herself to move on to the afterlife. Her spirit remained attached to their house, unable to cross over. In the afterlife, May Nak was convinced that her husband was still alive. Upon his return, Mak was overjoyed to find his wife and child in good health. He seemed unaware of the reality of May Nak's death. The neighbors, who knew the sad truth, dared not shatter Mak's illusion. However, strange things began to occur. Neighbors started noticing inexplicable phenomena, objects being moved, baby cries at night, and ghostly apparitions in Mak and May Nak's house. Some brave residents started investigating these occurrences, eventually uncovering the truth of the situation. They revealed to Mak that May Nak had passed away, and the entity sharing his home was a ghost. Terrified, Mak attempted to flee, but May Nak's love was too powerful. She pursued him everywhere. Monks were called in to exorcise the spirit, but even the most potent rituals seemed ineffective against May Nak's persistent love. Eventually, a renowned monk, Somdet To, was called to the rescue. He used a powerful spell to imprison May Nak's spirit in a clay jar, putting an end to her appearances. This jar is now displayed at Wat Mahabut, a Buddhist temple in Bangkok. The tale of May Nak has become famous in Thailand, with numerous film adaptations made to narrate this legend. Even today, some residents claim to feel May Nak's presence in the Phra Kanong district, a story that continues to haunt minds, reminding us that love can sometimes bind souls beyond life. Fourth story horror story, The Darkness of the Volcano. Once upon a time, there was a fearless adventurer named Victor, passionate about discovering mysterious and remote places. Hearing about a little-known volcano hidden in the mountains of Hungary, he decided to take on the challenge and explore it. This volcano, called the Sigh of the Dragon, was surrounded by ominous legends. Victor arrived in a picturesque village at the foot of the mountains. The villagers, well aware of the stories surrounding the volcano, warned him about the dangers that awaited. They spoke of dark forces and an evil entity residing in the depths of the mountain, feeding on the fear of the reckless. Ignoring the warnings, Victor equipped his backpack and began his ascent to the top of the volcano. As he distanced himself from the village, an oppressive atmosphere enveloped him. The once clear sky darkened with ominous clouds, and the wind carried strange whispers. Upon reaching the crater, Victor felt a daunting energy. A reddish glow emanated from inside the volcano, casting dancing shadows on the rocky walls. As he approached the edge, a hot and sulfurous breath rose from the crater, like a sigh from the mythical dragon. Suddenly, a dark silhouette appeared in the shadows. A shadowy entity with indistinct contours emerged from the darkness. Victor felt an evil presence, an invisible gaze weighing on his soul. Unintelligible whispers echoed in the air, an ancient and cursed language. Consumed by fear, Victor tried to turn back, but something held him back. Rocks seemed to shift, creating a twisted labyrinth around him. The reddish glow intensified, revealing mystical symbols engraved on the crater walls. The entity of darkness, taking a more defined form, approached slowly. Its eyes gleamed with an evil red light. Victor felt his mind invaded by nightmarish visions. Images of his past and future woven by this impenetrable entity. As he struggled to escape the entity's grip, Victor heard voices whispering ominous prophecies. He understood that the volcano was much more than a mere crater. It was the domain of an ancient and malevolent force. Miraculously, Victor managed to escape the crater, but he was never the same. The whispers and visions haunted him day and night. Some say that the volcano's entity had left an indelible mark on his soul, condemning him to bear the weight of darkness for the rest of his days. The village, now abandoned, kept the secret of the Dragon's Sigh, a place where intrepid adventurers risked losing more than their physical lives. The volcano continued to rumble in the shadows, its crater harboring an evil entity waiting for the next curious soul daring to enter its dark realm.